This is part 16 of our 100% walkthrough for Oracle of Ages, and this part will begin our animal companion Ricky for the game, which will actually link into the next game, Oracle of Ages. We'll meet the Carpenter Boss, and then he'll also we'll meet the Carpenter Boss, and then we'll find his workers, and they'll help fix the bridge at the very end.
And right off the bat here, we're actually going to trade our dog mask for a dumbbell. And I kind of have to laugh because the girl here says she's bred like the cutest dog in the world or whatever. And it's like, if you bred the cutest dog, why in the world are you putting a mask on? It defeats the whole purpose.
I thought she said something. Now, you know my reading abilities. Okay, I can read, but I just don't really like to take the time to do it. But I thought she said something about, like there's a dog that was cuter, or like that dog was cute, but not as cute as like her dog. And that's why she wanted the doggy mask. So I thought it had something to do with that. But once again, I didn't really read it too well, so I'm not really sure, even though it's right there on the screen in front of us.
Well, it's just another stage in the trading sequence that I have totally forgotten what we get out of it at the end of this game.
You know, I can't remember either. Like, I want to say that we get the sword, but I know that's what. Well, see, in Link's Awakening, you get the boomerang. I know you don't get that from the trade sequence in this game. I think it might be the broken sword, which we eventually get to make it the L2 sword by getting it fixed later on in the game, but I'm not really sure what we get from the trade sequence.
And I know earlier when we were going through the Moonlit Grotto, I was really hammering on the Seed Shooter as like not that great of an item.
Yep.
But I'd kind of realized now that it is basically our only ranged weapon so far in the game, as you saw us use it on a few of those enemies a couple screens ago. So it actually is a little more useful than I was giving it credit for back in the Moonlit Grotto.
Well, just like the range weapons or items are big in like these 2D Zelda games because you just can't really do that much in them. So I don't know, it just adds a whole new element for me. Just it doesn't necessarily like open the game up, but just I don't know, it just makes it, I don't know, exciting or something like that. Like I've always liked, I mean, long range weapons I've always found to be pretty fun in any Zelda game, but just it always feels like they do more, I guess, in 2D Zelda games.
And I do really like how we just met the Carpenter Boss. And if you think back to like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, they both had like carpenters, not as main characters, of course, but you know, as just secondary side characters. So for me, and I think you would agree with this, it was really cool to see the carpenters get brought back. And it sounds like they're pretty lazy in this game, just like they were back in Majora's
Mask. I love that reference to Ocarina of Time, like you said, like where they're lazy in this game, and they're also lazy in Ocarina of Time. Now, they weren't really that lazy in Majora's Mask because, well, I guess technically they were because they only had 3 days to live. But you're thinking like they're trying to get that job done in 3 days, so their work ethic is actually probably pretty good in Majora's Mask. But right with you on that one, I do love the reference back to like prior Zelda games.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If I've only got 3 days to live, I am not going to be working. You can.
I'll be at that milk bar. That's where I'm going to be, at the milk bar drinking that Chateau Romane. Exactly. I try to say in the most classy Southern accent way as I can.
There you go. Now, in this part, like you mentioned, we're going to be going to get our animal companion, and I am not a big fan of coming back to these woods and kind of having to redo the like the maze that it is.
Yeah.
At least, obviously, we know where we're going since we're doing 100%.
And you saw it's very easy right there. Basically, if you just go up and down a couple times, like you'll keep on resetting, you'll eventually get to where Ricky is. So it's not that hard, but at the same time, I knew to do that. So if you don't know that, you can go left, right, up, down. It can kind of throw off the directions a little bit.
Yeah. Now, I've totally forgotten. Obviously, we chose Ricky to be our companion. How would we go about picking one of the other animals? I've totally forgotten.
I kind of talked about this. Like, we played that game, the shooting gallery game, to get Ricky. That's how we got him. Now, Mush, if you don't do anything in the game, Mush is automatically given to you. Ricky, like I said, we went to that shooting gallery, and oh man, there's another way that you get Dimitri. It's playing. I can't remember now. I actually looked this up today before we started because I wanted to like get it right, and I still end up getting it wrong. But there's something. There's like some game or something like that you play to get Dimitri. I just can't remember right off the top of my head what it is.
I say, well, you're a step ahead of me because I had no clue whatsoever. But
well, the bad thing was I looked it up and still didn't remember what exactly it was. So. You know, it is what it is.
At least we find out what the strange flute was for, because when I was kind of prepping for to do commentary tonight, I could not remember for the life of me what the flute did until we got to this part, and we see that it calls Ricky. So it, Well,
don't you get like a flute? Like, do you not get the strange flute if you don't? Because I think there's one for Dimitri too. So like, I guess what I'm asking is, if you only get Mush, do you not get the strange flute in the game, or do you get the strange flute and you just gotta use it like in a certain way, or Maybe there's 3 ways to acquire it. I don't know. I'm asking, I guess, right here.
I honestly have no idea whatsoever. Like I just asked you, I could not even remember
if it's an item that you even got in the game. So it could be that way, or you could get it 3 different ways. I know you can get 2 different ways. Yeah. I believe we did a lot of preparation for this part, as you can see. So,
well, one thing, we obviously put a whole lot of work in. Well, this game is not one of our favorites, so we don't remember every little detail about it. It's not
I don't care to remember details. I care to forget them all. To be honest with you, you know my feelings on this game, and yours are pretty similar to my feelings. So
exactly, this whole part kind of cracks me up because the Carpenters have gone into like this. The boss won't go look for them because they're in this rough terrain.
Yep.
As we find out, like we need Ricky to get through the terrain, but the Carpenters somehow already got on top of all these ledges and stuff. So if the Carpenters can get up there, why can't the Carpenter Boss just go get them?
Well,
it's apparently not that rough.
The funny thing about this part is actually depending on which animal companion you get, the lay of the land changes. So like if you get Dimitri, there's actually more water-based land. Obviously with Ricky, you have more ledges that you can jump on, and then Mush. I don't know what Mush does. It's Mush.
It'd probably be pits because he can fly over the pits with his wings. So I'm guessing Mush would be more pits type.
So I actually do like that based on which one you get, the land changes. I think that's just like really a great element to like a 2D Zelda game when you didn't really have. I mean, something like that was probably hard with the technology at that time. So I mean, obviously you can't see what the other ones are because of who we chose, but it's still just a cool concept behind the idea of the game.
Now, I'm not a huge fan of going around and collecting these Carpenters in general because to me it just feels like yet another little pointless side quest that's just kind of in there to pad the length of the game a little bit.
Yeah,
but I will give it credit. It's not as bad as the Crescent Island stuff, so I will give it credit for that.
I tell you what, man, those workers had some rock star loin because they jumped right down off that ledge, unlike the Goron that we had in Majora's Mask. I mean, they were right off of that place. Now, I don't know how they can jump like that, but whatever.
So don't get us started on that Goron. We don't like him at all.
I think it's been one of the most frustrating things for us in the Zelda game is that Goron not being able to jump down like 8 feet off of a rock. But I know they're pretty big. They probably don't have the most agility, and their legs look like they're tiny compared to their bodies. But come on, buddy, you can just slide down that ledge. So good flashback, I guess.
It's funny you mentioned in the last part that we were going to need a lot of rupees to get some of these rings of praise. I probably mentioned this back in one of the very early parts of our commentary, but man, I just never found the value in those rings all throughout the game. I honestly didn't really understand like the whole getting them a praise and the ring box and stuff. So you saw us get one there, which is what made me think of it. But man, I just never found the value in using the rings at all.
Yeah, I mean, what we got to do is like you actually have to equip them. Like once you give them a praise, you have to go into like a certain screen and equip them as a ring. I think a lot of people don't know that you have to do that. And there are some valuable rings. Like they work. There's a lot of them in the first place. Yeah. But I think of one I can think of. I know there's a blue ring that we'll get later on that's like half damage taken. So like you equip that ring, and it's kind of like getting like a blue tunic or the red tunic in Link to the Past. So there were some very beneficial ones in the game.
That's true.
You kind of just had to read the description after you praised them, and then equip the right one. So
I will say, man, for as much as we were bagging on those Carpenters, when it came time to get the job done, they did a great job getting that bridge.
They really did, which makes you more frustrated as a boss because you're like, okay, you all ran off when it obviously only took you like 10 seconds to build this bridge now. That wasn't very realistic. It's going to take longer than that to build a bridge, but I kind of agree with you. It was very funny. Like, they've been lazy, they're running off, and then bam, here's the bridge, it's done.
And now that we're in Symmetry City, this actually goes in and wraps
up... Love Symmetry City, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, this wraps up part 16 of our Oracle of Ages walkthrough.